Hey, hi Nico.
Your Chinese not bad.
Yeah, I can tipu one.
Hey, if you say my Chinese is good, don't say not bad.
This is not easy. Macam mana EKIN? You sponsor Chinese? Bottom half is... What's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of We Don't Have a Name for This Show Yet. And today, as you can see, is another episode on VaporMax. Without further ado, I would like to invite our special guest. He's none other than the EKIN of Malaysia. EKIN is Nike spelled backwards, which means he's a product specialist and he knows Nike inside out, backwards and forward. With all that said, give a big round of applause to Gary!
Yo, what's up?
I know we've done like, I think this is like our third or fourth video on the VaporMax, but we just can't get enough of it because there's so much to be said about this. So I'm here to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
It's like a Q&A.
Sure, my pleasure.
First question. Officially, how many years was Nike working on the VaporMax?
Nike took 8 years to make this pair of footwear, and we started off this project in 2009. Interesting story as well was the designer, her name is Lee Payton. She was telling us when she started off this project, right? She had a counterpart, and that counterpart is from Korea. She's a Korean. And when they started off this project, the Korean girl, she was pregnant. And when we finally released this shoe, somewhere in March this year, by then, the Korean lady gave birth to that kid, and that kid is in primary 1 already. So, putting time perspective, that's how long an effort that we have put into a pair of footwear.
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years.
8 years is a really long time. So let's go deep into the shoe itself, alright? Where is this made? There's only one place, right?
Yeah, we champion the Air, specifically in Oregon. We have a factory there called IHM, and that is where all the Air in the world is made of. We might have obviously factories in China, Turkey and all that, but the Air specifically comes from Oregon.
Before you guys went on this thing, what was the sentiment like? We want to create a shoe that is just 100% air bubble.
Yeah.
So was that the goal, or was there something else? And then, you know, what was the thought process on the creative?
So the thought process was actually, we had Air for the past 30 years. What we wanted to do was an Air Max, and it's the lightest Air Max ever. Yes, we used to have a lot of Air Max from Air Max 1 and 7 and all that, but can we then now do the lightest Air Max, and can we feel the Air Max directly under our feet? Because we know traditionally running shoes, or even Nike shoes, we have 3 different layers. Your upper, your midsole, and then it comes your outsole. At times, runners or even consumers can't feel the air directly under their feet, and hence that was what we were trying to champion. We wanted to give them the feeling of air for the very first time. And that's what sets us to this project, and we have achieved that, I would say. So
a lot of sneakerheads have this question, and they actually got this kind of culture from the Air Max 95. I think it's written on the back of the sole, the amount of PSI, the pressure that's inside this air unit. Do you know the exact amount of PSI in the air bubble?
It said from our side, it's made from 25 PSI all the way to 45 PSI. It's in between that range. And what sets us apart in terms of the air bubble or the airbag is because we have 2 different parts, one on the heel and one on the front, right? The amount of air that was put into it is different because at the back it is 24mm stack height, and at the front it is 14.5mm stack height. In that differences, the air that you can feel is also different. So you could feel it's different when you run or when you walk, but I would say the range is between 25 to 45 PSI.
Okay, what air exactly is inside?
Good question.
Is this like real air, or is there like some, you know, like some gas inside, or what?
We've been asked a lot of questions like what air do we put inside, right? Officially we put nitrogen air, N2.
Okay.
So it's well known because its particles are not as small to escape from the airbag, and it has one of the lightest properties in terms of the chemical world out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since we've talked about the bottom, we'll move on to the top. So, nice. I can't. We've talked about.
Let's go to the up.
Yeah, we've talked about the bottom. Now we gotta talk about the top, right? Because we're guys. It's been rumored, right, that Nike went through a whole lot of different versions for the upper. Can you tell us about that? How many versions?
Sure,
And-
thanks. So we had approximately 80 prototypes that we used. Yeah. Obviously, I was telling you we had 8 years of experience doing this footwear.
10 different versions each year.
Yeah, approximately 10 different versions. And you know, back in 2009, we never had Flyknit. We only had mesh and some other material. So we used mesh. And then halfway through, we had Flyknit, and we put in Flyknit. It evolved from year to year. And also the name. Do you know that when we started off the project, it was called VaporMax. It was not called VaporMax. So
Nike VaporMax.
yeah, it's called VaporMax. And then
That is wow. Okay.
And then slowly down the road, it went into the name called Flymax, and then somehow, for a funny reason, it's called Bella. And finally, we landed on VaporMax finally.
You have no idea why it's called Bella?
No.
Really?
It was just told to us. It was somehow in the middle. It was called Bella,
Okay.
and then suddenly it's like now it's VaporMax.
Was that kid born named Bella?
Yeah, it's a good question. I have to go and check.
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
You never know.
Alright. You've been to Oregon. Have you seen the first prototype?
Yeah, I saw the prototype, especially from the airbag that was made
Okay.
towards the upper, obviously in IHM, and we have another house, we call it the DNA,
Okay.
Department of Nike Archives. That is where we host all our prototypes. So I was there and I get to see all the prototypes. I can't describe, I will need to show pictures, but we can't show pictures, but
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's so much different from where we started to where we landed right now. Again, we have put a lot of effort, and if you had the time to see the first version, it's nothing near the VaporMax that you see now. It's really looking different, even the airbag as well.
Traditional running shoes, they use a lot of foam, right?
Yes.
And over time, foam wear and break down,
Yeah.
and they crumble.
Yes.
With this, there's no foam, and it's totally exposed. It's the first time, it's a fully exposed
Yes.
air bubble, right? The question here is the lifespan.
Yeah.
How long is it gonna last?
Good question. I get this question like very often. It depends on how much you use and how you store your footwear. So if you use regularly, almost every day, obviously your lifespan is going to be shorter, and vice versa. And if you store it properly in a very airy area, not under the hot sun, you can prolong the lifespan. So when people ask how long can we use this, I would obviously tell that first, like tell them how you store it and how frequent you use it. To your question, like what's the lifespan? I would say it is around 500 to 800 kilometers for running.
500 to 800 kilometers.
You can run well, bro.
Yeah, that's the amount of KM I did in 2 years. 2 years, guys. So we saw, as you can see on this table, there's a lot of colorways. What are the future plans?
Yeah, so
Are you able to drop some Easter eggs for us, for our audience?
I will try. I've seen the future colorways. What I will tell you guys is this is great. Like we are having great colorways coming out. It's like super cool, super dope. Even we will have different construction of the upper. I can't tell what, but we will have a very exciting construction of the upper as well. So good times coming up. Keep a lookout to it, and you'll be amazed.
Alright, so that's all the time we have for you this week. Thank you for tuning in to We Don't Have a Name for This Show Yet. Big shout out to Nike fam, to Gary for taking the time to explain about all the VaporMax stuff and all that. And if you like the video, do share, like our page. Till next time.